Morning. This week's devotion is when life seems overwhelming. Have you ever had one of those weeks where it seems like things are just completely out of control? Whether it's things going wrong or there just seems to be way more to do than there are hours in the day. I've had many weeks like that, and it leaves you feeling overwhelmed. Well, as a Star Wars nerd, when I'm in the midst of one of those weeks, I think of Luke making his run on the Death Star. And there are enemy fighters everywhere, and they're blowing up his friend's fighters all around him. And he just can't shake Darth Vader on his tail. How's he supposed to do his job to shoot that exhaust port? I look at all the things going on in my life and think, so where are Han and Chewie to get Darth Vader off my back so I can do what I need to do and go home? In this week's psalm, I think David may have been having one of those weeks. But instead of sitting there feeling overwhelmed, he writes what is titled a triumphant song of confidence. But from the psalm, it's very clear that things aren't going great. But David has faith that God will see him through it. It's not necessarily that God will sweep in like Han in the Millennium Falcon, but he has faith that God is with him and will not let him fall. Listen to Psalm 27. Verses 1 and verses 4 through 9. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? One thing I asked of the Lord, and this I seek, to live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. For he will hide me in his shelter in the day of trouble. He will conceal me under the cover of his tent. He will set me high on a rock. Now my head is lifted up above my enemies all around me, and I will offer in his tents sacrifices with shouts of joy. I will sing and make melody to the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry aloud. Be gracious to me and answer me. Come, my heart says, seek his face. Your face, O Lord, do I seek. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You who have been my help, do not cast me off. Do not forsake me, O God of my salvation. From that, to me, David is clearly still in the midst of his troubles. But he trusts that he's not alone. He boldly asks God to help and believes that that help will come. He doesn't just sit there and whine. He seeks the Lord. He even sings songs of praise. In fact, isn't that what Psalm 97 is? So in the middle of my week, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I need to stop and remember that God has never failed me. God has always been there, even in the worst of times. I don't need to look to God to sweep in to save the day, because Jesus is already here with me. I need to trust, like David, that things will work out. They may not work out exactly as I've planned. I may not get everything done that I thought that I had to get done, but that's okay. I had so many phone calls and crises and interruptions that I didn't get my devotion done on Wednesday this week. So here it is, Thursday. Did the world come to an end? No. And God was with me. If you're having one of those weeks, take a deep breath. You're not alone. Jesus is right there with you every step of the way. And if you need to call or message me, go ahead, because that is where the real grace happens, in the interruptions. It was in the interruptions yesterday where I got a glimpse that God was at work all around me. You aren't alone. Have a blessed week.